amazing.
Right, now, we must move on because it is time for the news. And we start with news of an event coming up, the Chumley Pageant of Power.
The what?
Chumley Pageant of Power.
Oh, well, that's excellent. We're the world's biggest motoring show, everybody, and we begin the news with an item about a village fete.
No, it's like a northern Goodwood Festival of Speed.
So a Goodwood with pies and gravy.
No! Anyway, the point is, there's going to be a car at it I wanted to show you. It's this. It's called the Brutus. Yeah, it's magnificent. Basically, it's a 1908, I think it is, BMW chassis, made in the 1920s, and it's got a 46-litre 12-cylinder aeroplane.
46 litre?
46-litre 12 cylinders. I've got a shot of the engine. Here's the actual engine out of it.
Holy cow! It's like a Turner painting. It was steam, speed and fire.
It's magnificent.
I'm going to send that to Greenpeace so they can hang it up in their foyer.
Yeah. They love it, actually, because it does 0.18 miles to the gallon. Yeah.
You're kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, I love the engine, but what fascinates me about old cars like this is why people feel compelled to get into period costume before driving them. I mean, you live in a 1970s house. Do you feel the need to wear a shirt from the 90s? Yes, he does, actually, yes.
He is.
Anyway, we have more news. A few weeks ago, I held a small birthday party for the E-Type Jaguar.
Yes, I recall. It was subtle.
Somebody else is having one at Silverstone the weekend of July the 22nd, and they say 1,000 E-Types will be there. I think what they mean is 1,000 E-Types will attempt to be there.
Yeah. On that particular day, 1,000 E-Types will try and start.
Yeah, some E-Types will be there.
Maybe.
Why will they be there, though, really? I've never understood that. So you drive hundreds of miles in your car to look at some cars that are exactly the same as the car that you just drove there in.
Well, is there anyone here from a car owners club? You are? And this is which club?
Marlin.
The what?
Marlin.
That's Marlin.
That's a fish.
That's a very lonely... No, it's a very lonely owners club, that. He goes and stands in a field all by himself. Is anybody here from a car club that's got more than one member? What? Renault Clio Owners Club?
How can there be an owners club for that?
Do you go and meet and stand in fields? Car parks?
Oh, well, I want to join.
Well, I've got a Renault
I'm
Clio.
up for that.
So have I. Any other car
big
makers
car
here? Anyone from the MG Owners Club?
Well, not here, obviously.
No, obviously, that's a good point. They won't be here. They'll be on the A3 going, oh, no. I wonder, sometimes, do people who are MG enthusiasts buy them hoping they break down? They do, don't they? They think, like, that way I can get underneath it and get my fingernails all dirty.
No, because if you think, if all they wanted to do was drive around in an open-top two-seater, they'd buy a Mazda MX-5, because that just is always going to work.
Exactly. I think they're mad. It's like being an amateur vet and saying, I'm going to deliberately buy a dog that's poorly in the hope it goes wrong and I can fix it. Now, there is a new BMW M5. We can tell you several things about it. First of all, it'll cost £73,000. Secondly, it's based on the current 5 Series, which we think is one of the best-looking cars around. That looks even better. Thirdly, the engine, for the first time ever in an M5, is turbocharged because of some air problem. Carbon dioxide has to be cleaner. And it'll also, even though I haven't driven it, be fantastic to drive. I know that.
Hey, Will, actually, all M5s have always been fantastic. There's never been a bad one.
No, there hasn't. There's a lot on this as well, a lot of equipment. It's got a rear-view camera. It's also got a multimedia system that can bring up Facebook and Twitter.
I don't want one anymore.
Now, why would you want that on your dashboard? You're driving up the A1. Oh, look, Lily Allen's having sardines in Notting Hill. That's interesting. It's not relevant.
Is that necessary? I mean, do fighter pilots have Twitter on their dashboard?
Yes.
I'm locked onto target, I'm committed. Oh, hang on a second, Stephen Fry's just said something brainy about a play. Hold off. You don't need the...
I really do think we get too much information when we're driving around now. I mean, those signs that say spray possible, which on a nice day in June, it isn't. And you know those posters, OK, that used to be adverts that said drink food and eat beer or whatever it is on them? Yeah, use toothpaste. Well, now they've made them electronic, and Sky News has got one, and it gives you snippets of news as you drive by. Now, I was driving past one the other day. It'd be OK if it was short, but it's quite long. So you're going, J.K. Rowling, sacks agent after... Where are you going?
That's funny, I was driving down the A40 just after you the other day, and the headline was quite brief. It said, Clarkson has massive accident.
Now, can I just say, as we know, birds sometimes defecate on your car. And at this time of year, that's very bad for the paintwork, because the lacquer is soft. What?
Where are you going with this, mate?
Where I'm going is this. A bird defecated on my car this week.
Oh, well, that's
To
terrible.
be fair, that's not that unusual, mate. It'll have happened to people here.
Not like this. OK, I brought an iPad here. I know how they work, of course. Here is the bird.
Yes, it's some bird poo on your back window.
Now,
but
that's a
you've actually-
significant quantity of bird poo, would you not? You'd say that's a big bird that did that. Look at this. He gets to there and you think, it must be the end. That is a metre of faeces! What bird can do a metre of faeces? I'm 2 metres tall and I can't do a metre of faeces.
Hang on, you live in Oxfordshire. You've got
Yes.
there are those red kites there, and they are big birds.
They are big birds and they are carnivores. Now, I examined this faeces
Did you?
and there were 7 cherry stones in it.
Well, maybe it had a field mouse in a cherry jus in Oxfordshire.
It didn't. If the cherry stones were in its gut, it must have eaten the cherry whole, which means it must have had a mouth like a Peugeot. What kind of bird can have a gallon of guano in its gut and still take off and achieve sufficient altitude to defecate on my Range Rover?
Big one.
Maybe
What?
it was a flying cow.
What?
James, you really do live in Hammersmith, don't you?
We should bear in mind this is the man who believes cows lay eggs. And he does. He said that on the show.
You said that.
I said eggs come from cows.
Well, did you see that? He said it does.
Can I just say, I want to have a competition on this. If anybody can find a bigger piece of bird dirt than
Oh,
that on
God.
their car, take a photograph and send it to us at Top Gear London, where are we? W127TS. Mark your envelope. You really are plumbing new depths this week.
Well, you are.
Now, there is a new Range Rover. It's not as big as the real thing,